What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kofi Kingston, a.k.a. 1/3 of the New Day. You're not going to say it with me, sir? Yeah, come on, you better participate. Let's try it again. 1/3 of the New Day, and you are watching The Young and the Wrestlers. Ha 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 ha.
Welcome to The Young and the Wrestlers, the pop culture's WWE podcast, the show that takes a look at the soap opera nature of the WWE. We're talking storylines, talking characters, talking all the stuff that we like to mark out about. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Betson, alongside...
I'm the average EST. I'm Jem.
This is our WWE in review. It comes to you every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that wrestling conversation, head to our social media. That's facebook.com/group/thepopcultures, as well as our Twitter handles, Discord, Instagram. All those links are in the down below area. If you want to watch the show as we do it, head over to twitch.tv/popcultures and watch us record this show live. Get in the chat. Become involved. It's always a damn good time. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this wrestling pod. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I will always take the time to respond to a comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop. We can buy shirts and other assorted shit without logos on it. Now, Jem, before we get into the show here, we do still need to say that our top 10 soap opera moments is coming.
A lot of research.
A lot of research, because there's like X amount of years of wrestling, and on top of that, Jem's busy as hell, and I'm busy. Like I'm as busy as I've always been. So we're finding it, we're working it, we're getting it together, but you will get that list. How are you, Jem?
I'm good, man. I'm exhausted, but in a good way. I guess it's just like I'm actually out and working, which is nice. But no, I'm good. I, right before this, watched an episode of Ink Master and watched Jeff Hardy get tattooed, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
So I was like in the wrestling mode. And then when Jeff Hardy came out, I was like, oh, that video was like 10 years old. Wow. You have aged.
you have aged significantly.
Yeah.
For those that are watching the videos, you'll notice that Jem looks different. Jem's rocking sweet contact lenses. Mm-hmm. She's got a different face. Same face, but different, but still same.
Same face, just less.
Yeah, it took me a little while to notice. So here I am, like awkwardly staring at Jem, like longer than usual, and I'm like, "What the fuck's with something different?" And it's the glasses. It's the glasses.
They make a difference.
They do make a difference. So I imagine my face. I reckon I look like Milhouse. You know in The Simpsons when Milhouse has his little like piddly eyes. That's what I reckon I have. Oh, and Max is here as well. We got Mash, we got Dash, we got Mad Dog. All the best big brains. And there's hopefully many more come. All right, Jem. Let's get into it. Look, we're not going to bury the lead here. We're going to kick this off. Before we talk about Raw, before we talk about SmackDown, we are going to jump straight into some draft predictions because I titled the show. I didn't want you to wait like an hour and a bit for us to talk about it. It's next week. It's this week. It's this upcoming SmackDown. It is the Raw after. It's the 2-night WWE draft. Now, Jem, you and I have no other plans outside of we think they should go there. We think this person should go here. And we want the chat to get involved as well. And we want you to get involved at home as well. So presumably, Raw will get a substantial more number of superstars to SmackDown, similar to last year. But we're not going to worry too much about that. Now, on top of that, Triple H did say at the back end of last month that NXT was going to be involved in this. However, with the announcement of the draft over Clash of Champions, they were excluded from that promo material. However, you and I, we're going to play this game, and this game is going to have NXT in it. Mm-hmm. So, Jem, let's say a quick glance. What's your thoughts going into this draft? I have one thing in mind, and I'm gonna say it.
Do it, please.
Unify the tag team titles. That's what needs to happen. That is the first thing that needs to happen. They need to combine those titles and make one tag, men's tag for both.
Yep.
That way it keeps the same consistency as the women. There is not enough tag teams right now. And they can also get a redesign. That's what I'm thinking. Unify the tag belts. Make a new one, because they've redesigned all the belts so far except for the tags, and I think the old Centaurian logo is a little bit old.
Yeah.
So that way they can put tag teams wherever they want, and it also kind of doesn't matter, especially right now in like the COVID no crowd era. Like it's this interesting sort of middle ground. Big shout out for Solitaire. Hey Solitaire, good dude on Twitter, for the follow, and as well as Hooge, burn it down. He's here to talk draft as well. I love it. Unified tag titles. Teams go wherever the hell they want. I don't really care about that. Unify them. That's step one.
I can agree.
Do you have a step one before we get into specific people?
No. No, I agree with you on the tag titles, but that's sort of the furthest I've thought about it.
Yeah. Oh, well,
I'm trying to sort of think on the fly now.
Yeah. So in that case, let's think about it this way. So let's look at those champions. Let's think where they're going to go. Are we going to see the Universal and the WWE Championship change brands again?
No.
I'm in the same boat. I see them staying in the same places.
Yeah.
I don't see them swapping. But I also don't see the mid-card title swapping either. I think where the story that they're telling, especially with the idea I have of Rock versus Roman for WrestleMania, I think it makes sense to keep that storyline on SmackDown, seeing SmackDown's legacy with The Rock. I want to keep that story there. Just because there's a little bit extra branding, a little bit, because you know when the Rock returned to SmackDown, when SmackDown moved to Fox, everyone blew their shit, right? And I think that same messaging would be really good to stay through. Mid card titles, so the IC and the United States, I see them staying in the same place as well. With the United States being involved in the Hurt business. They're involved with Retribution. It looks like Retribution is staying put on Raw. I'd say they're going to probably stay. So with that, we can then safely make the predictions that Drew McIntyre is staying on Raw. Roman is staying on SmackDown.
100%.
We will see the Hurt business, so that's Apollo Crews, Bobby Lashley, and MVP stay on Raw, and Sami Zayn stay on SmackDown. Women's titles. How do you see that going?
Shit. I definitely think Jax and Shayna will be split. Like, it's going to happen. It'll have to go to an official tag team, which I'm thinking somehow miraculously is going to be the Riot Squad.
But even then, like because that belt is multi-brand, I don't see it moving anywhere. Like, obviously, it's not moving anywhere. It's not locked down anywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. I definitely think though that Jax and Shayna will split brands.
Oh, do you reckon they'll get separated because they're not
powerhouse on each
because
show.
they're not an official tag team split? Oh,
Yeah,
I like that approach. That's a good way to look at it.
And in unifying the male tag team championships as well, that gives the opportunity for the spread of Cesaro and Shinsuke. And hopefully we can see a reigniting of the Bar. I really just want to see the Bar again. I like them. They were a good tag team.
Having a look in the chat, Solitaire agrees. He also believes the Universal title will stay. As similar to what I said, they're pushing too hard on that Reigns storyline. So to move that around, I agree with that. I like that idea of splitting Shayna and Nia because I think that would add that division because they're not really a tag team. But then again, even though the tag titles are cross-brand, they're very heavy on Raw right now. So I do wonder whether we're going to see that shift because we are going to see a lot of women shift across to SmackDown because they seem to don't have enough over there.
Yeah,
right
now Carmella's re-debuting.
Yeah, Carmella re-debuts, which we'll get to in a little bit later. Bayley, I imagine will stay on SmackDown as well, being the longest running SmackDown champion. I don't see the titles themselves changing hands, except for that ideally that unification of the tag titles. Asuka will likely stay there as well, but however, I kind of see Sasha moving over to Raw, even though I don't think their storyline is done yet. And on this upcoming episode of SmackDown, we know that Sasha and Bayley are having a title match. So I guess depending on who the winner of that is, the other will probably switch, right?
Yeah, I feel like they're doing it before the draft for that specific reason.
Yeah. Solitaire also adds Asuka is a switch hitter, though. She'll work anywhere. That's right. She is fantastic, and she'll go wherever they need. And we saw that literally come to fruition at Clash of Champions when we saw her just kind of last minute come in and replace Nikki Cross and do a great job of it. Other movements. So obviously Mandy Rose has already made her way across. I see her staying there.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm trying to think who else. So Kevin Owens has got a match against The Fiend on SmackDown this week as well. So potentially he may come across.
The cross-brandy thing, and he said he pays a lot of attention to SmackDown, so it's definitely heavily hinting at that.
You know, there's a lot there. Like there's some that are very clearly hinting already, but there's a lot that isn't. So if we look at current storylines, I don't see them breaking too much. There's not enough that's ended, especially or potentially. If the draft took place after Hell in a Cell, I would have a different stance. You know, because right now in my head, I'm thinking this should happen here, this should happen here, but it isn't. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, well, I want Sasha versus Bayley at a Hell in a Cell. That's not going to happen. Even if we look at Seth and Buddy and Dominic, their storyline's still going. So why would they be split right now?
Yeah,
it's interesting. I personally would move them, but then again, if we don't move the storylines that are happening right now, then what are they going to do? They might as well just move all the mid-carders and the lower mid-carders that no one really cares about anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky because you never know what they're thinking as well. They do really catch you off guard, and they take people that you don't think are going to, you don't even think are still rostered on. It's...
titles will get mentioned for some reason.
Yeah, we haven't
seen him in forever. Big Show's still an active wrestler, apparently. So they pointed that out.
Braun Strowman coming to Raw.
Braun Strowman is very clearly going to Raw.
Yeah, 100%. He's been there every week for the last couple of weeks.
So they'll be separating him from Bray over on SmackDown to keep those stories going a little bit separate.
Yeah, and Kevin's coming across to pick up a storyline, I recken.
Yeah, that would make sense. In terms of NXT, do you see any NXT movements coming up, going down?
Well, after seeing a little promo before, I know they've said they probably would never move, but I have a feeling that maybe we might see Gargano and Candice LeRae coming up.
I'm in a very similar space, actually. After watching TakeOver on Monday, which was fantastic, by the way. I'm confident. My situation was either Candice and Gargano win their matches, which they didn't, or they're moving come the draft. I'm pretty confident they're moving. I see them going to probably Raw. Yeah. Be able to put them somewhere. I think Undisputed Era might make their way up as well. But even then, Adam Cole got involved in a match, got sort of jacked up by some guy. I don't know who it was at the end of TakeOver. So maybe they're not done at NXT. But that means maybe Cole's not done. But, say Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly. But even though he's apparently got busted fucking teeth now. I thought there's a little bit of movement potentially. Because it's pretty quiet down at NXT as well. So maybe there's some people from up there going down, which is going to be the case. Kevin Owens, we saw him at War Games and it was awesome. So maybe we'll see him return back down there because he was pretty excited to do so in War Games last year. I saw some of the idea that Daniel Bryan may go back to NXT. That would be awesome. Because right now he's on pat leave, so he's not doing a whole lot. Yeah. So he's probably down there. Solitaire adds Ciampa needs to move up if Gargano moves. That's very true. But because Ciampa came back a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think he's doing any active storylines right now. So I'm not sure where he would go. because they had been drafted to Raw before. They were drafted to Raw like what, a year and a bit ago.
A year ago-ish, yeah.
And then they went back down after that kind of got handled not too well. But I think in this COVID era, there's going to be a bit more concessions because there is that not traveling around the country. It's all in the same location, and it is that sort of middle ground. So we did see Ember Moon move back to NXT. So she was previously a Raw superstar, but she made a return appearance at NXT on Takeover on Monday. So
exciting.
That she shifted down there. I'm like, it's there's a lot of people that would benefit from going back, but it's the idea of looking at it being like, well, would you not? Like, we've got the idea of like, Billy Kay and Peyton have been separated. They really want to give Peyton a push, but what's Billy going to do? Maybe they bring Billy down, or they separate him across the two brands. Like, there's a lot up in the air. And of course, at Solitaire, a lighter roster than the last time there was a draft. True, with the Black Wednesday, earlier in the year. So this is going to be the most interesting of the last few drafts. That's only presuming that they make bold decisions here, which they may or they may not. I'm kind of feeling that they're not going to. I think they're going to play it very safe. And they've done the draft to get some viewers in, to people in to see what changes. But then I have a feeling at the end of it, we'll all be like, okay. Like I remember last year when we watched draft, because I was at PAX with Craig and Dylan, and we're all watching it. Everyone else is going out and partying. We're like, no, we're gonna watch the SmackDown draft. Bye.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and like there were some big decisions there. Like all the titles moved hands. It's like this is crazy because they really wanted to push Fox with SmackDown with Fox. And even though right now SmackDown I find is telling the better stories, it's having a better time. Like it wouldn't hurt to keep the focus on SmackDown again, because we've discussed it more recently as well. Like Raw is disappointing. Raw is too long. It's painful. Unless they want to like do something cool with Raw Underground and make it the last hour, so that way Raw is technically 2 hours, which I don't see them doing, but they should. Like maybe they draft people to Raw to be involved in Raw Underground. Maybe we'll see finally some movement of like Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. Like maybe they will come up to be officially to become with Underground, which therefore Shayna will likely stay on Raw. Raw Lucha Underground. So that's the other thing as well. So it also adds that different networks need their egos massaged this time around. And that makes sense because we saw that last time. There was a lot of like supporting Fox and giving Fox the big names. So the decision here would be like, well, we need to also keep USA happy. We need to keep Fox happy. So there's going to be a little bit of that. And at the time, they're like, we want The Fiend. The Fiend is the big seller. He's the big tent pole puller. But I don't think he's that anymore. He is, but he isn't. Not the same as he was a year ago. Yeah. Am I anything that I'm sort of missing? So I'm kind of just throwing stuff here and ideas and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're pretty on the money there. I think at the moment, for me, it's just there's too many options. And like the minute I think of one, I'm like, oh, but what if this? Oh, but what if this? So it's like, I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. I can't put things together because my brain's just like jumping to too many things.
So I did see Mad Dog put this in the chat before, but I did miss it. He goes, the number one draft pick will be the Fox's War Room robot. We did see the robot last year, which is super weird. It's since been drafted to the USA Network. In their War Room, and they'll just have Zoom calls this year. Now, one thing I also noticed. Right? One thing I also noticed in the commentary, it may have been a slip up. It may have been intentional because this week on both shows there was like hell. In case you weren't sure, Hell in a Cell. Hell, everything's hell. Yeah. So there's a lot of, as we know, WWE is really a stickler on specific wording here and there. Now I noticed that I believe it was Corey or one of the commentators said and the GMs are looking. Do you think we will see general managers again?
That would be... I mean, Adam Pearce has been playing a big role.
Adam Pearce has essentially been a GM, but for both brands. So, like, maybe they'll actively do that and they'll pull up a GM.
That's GMs would be good.
And it's a situation of who will they be? Like I'm trying to think of who's been GMs in the past. Like I think Shane McMahon was a GM for a while. Baron Corbin was a GM for a while. Kurt Angle was a GM for a little while and semi recently. Like there's maybe they'll pull out some other people. Like what they just CM Punk's maybe he's still getting Fox money and they're like you don't want to wrestle, you want to be a GM.
Bring back Teddy Long.
Yeah, bring Teddy Long. Maybe they'll bring back the laptop. There's tons of things they could do.
Yeah, Michael Cole can do his GM heel turn thing.
But yeah, I'm my problem is that I always tend to forget that WWE can be incredibly predictable and they'll intentionally destroy your expectations.
Yes.
So here I am being like, oh, I'm just marking out, being like this and this and this, and maybe it could be this, or it could even be this. And then none of it could happen.
Yeah,
not even a little bit. Right. You know what I mean? Like it can go that way as well.
They can just be like, nah, show's good.
They'll be like, nah, nothing is really changing. It's kind of exactly as you think it is, but we just wanted more people to watch the show.
You're welcome.
And then everyone gets mad and don't watch the show.
Yeah.
Well, let us know who you think is going to go where in the comments below. And I've said this for like a month flat. Will the men's tag team titles be unified? Should they be unified? Please. The answer is yes. Yes, they should. Because right now the roster is too thin. They need to if they want to focus on it hard, focus on it properly. And we're getting, that's what I'm saying. It's just got to have to happen. Mm-hmm. Or they unify them, then they have a big match at maybe Hell in the Cell or maybe even Survivor Series. Mm. They have a big match at Survivor Series. All three brands, they pick a representative of their tag titles for the unified belts. I know we have to go through Hell in a Cell first, but one from each team, one from each brand, NXT, whatever. Actually, NXT has their own belts, so they're probably going to get involved. But 8-man tag, 4 teams, 2 teams from Raw, 2 teams from SmackDown, Bush, unified tag titles. Then maybe Otis can finally use his Money in the Bank briefcase or lunchbox.
If he still has it, he has to face court.
If he doesn't just go to court. All right, let's get into the meat of the show. Thank you everyone for engaging in my unplanned, unscripted ramblings around the WWE draft. I'll probably be live tweeting the draft this Saturday and maybe next Tuesday. I think I'll be at work, but I'll find a way to watch it because draft is important, man. All right, let's kick things off as we do every week with our SmackDown in review. Jem, where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with talking about Otis and Court. So Otis is in a match against John Morrison tonight, and he has his little pre-match video where he says he's deciding to represent himself in court, which will be interesting next week. And then he beats the shit out of John Morrison and wins. that was that.
I still don't know what they're doing.
Neither.
Like I'm trying to think about it, and when it comes to this whole money in the lunchbox thing. So the idea,
I think they feel like it belongs to them because they did all the wrestling and Otis just caught it.
In the chat there, we have a resub from the Mullet Show for his 31st month in a row.
Woo!
And he says, Otis destroyed Johnny Drip Drip.
Yes. Yes, he did.
This is the problem that we're facing, and this is why the draft is really needed, if they actually do it properly. We're seeing the same stuff over and over and over again, because we're going to talk about Raw, we're going to talk SmackDown too, but then we're going to be like, this is a repeat match from last week, this is a slight variant of the match we saw last week. I actually pulled up the wrong Raw on Foxtel this week, and it took me a little while to realize it was the last week's episode. Because of that similarity. And that's the same thing here. How many different ways can we see Heavy Machinery versus Miz and Morrison? Hey, ho, ho. It's getting a little bit much. Either they're going to have to pull out their ass and make a decision about what they're doing with this, doing the Money in the Bank you know, because like under the court ruling, you know, the Otis can't attack Miz, but he can fuck up John Morrison, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the end goal is here. Like they didn't touch upon the legalities too much this week. Like he was supposed to make a decision last week, but didn't.
Mm.
You know, like if it is a legally binding document, and they're like, you have to have a decision by next week. Well, it's been 2 weeks now. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're kind of like airy-fairy, I guess we're
just fluffing about.
Under pandemics, I guess courts held up, you know.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Jem?
I don't have any because I at this point I just don't care. It's not engaging anymore. It was funny and now it's just falling flat, and yeah, I'm kind of like, just get it over with, please.
Yeah, well, speaking of things we've already seen before, and then for some reason we are just seeing again and again, it is Sheamus versus Shorty G.
Mm-hmm.
Again. For some reason.
Yeah.
Like the whole point of this show, right, is we try to be that point of difference. We try to be the ones that are positive about WWE, even if it's playing within our own kayfabe, right? And, you know, we pretend stories are real and we have a laugh. It's very difficult right now. Mm-hmm. It's been difficult for quite a while. We've kept it going, but
now it's tedious, like proper tedious.
Yeah, it is getting legit tedious.
I honestly feel like it was all just a promo for his and Big E's match next week.
Yeah.
Like, it was all just a whole, like, there was that video package of Big E saying, like, what'd he say? He was like, oh, yeah, we should probably get this match out of the way before the draft next week, and this, that, and the other. So it was basically just a massive draft ad wrapped up as a precursor to this match next week, because we haven't seen Big E in a couple of weeks, so... which I'm happy to see that happen, but I'm sick of seeing, you know, Sheamus fight the same people over and over. People that we know he's going to beat.
Yeah. It's tough to keep that motivated. And Solid Throws out, it is really hard being a positive fan up here, no doubt. It is. It's very difficult. Yeah. Like, you know, when everyone sits here and poo-poos on WWE, and like for us, we do our best, and we, you know, we want to be that. Like, everyone's like, oh, WWE's just doing, like, no, well, like, fucking enjoy it. Let's find a way to enjoy it.
Yeah. And
like, even with, you know, what another match that was a 6-man tag match with like Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, Corbin, with Matt Riddle and the Lucha House Party. Mm-hmm. Cool, I guess. Like, it combined 2 storylines, which I'm okay with, because one of my big issues with WWE is usually their deterrent in combining stories. Where, like, if you're involved in a story, you don't associate with B or C story.
Yeah.
And, like, that's one thing that AEW does better. All their stories can tend to mingle together, and it's this great sort of combination, cohesive story. Like, you look at AEW Dynamite, and you're like, it's all one big thing. Yeah,
whereas, the WWE tend to, I guess, segregate their locker room into sections.
So, like, because their original, well, from I think there's a statement about this, like, the idea is that if, you know, the audience isn't smart enough to understand that they're 2 different stories, so we need to keep them separate. So I guess here it's just like, let's put a bunch of heels together, let's put a bunch of faces together, okay. But the only story that got the real push here was Lucha House Party. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and that whole thing of, like, Kalisto, and they get asked about him, and they're like, who cares? He's in the locker room. Like, we don't care. Like, they're really pushing that whole Kalisto sort of the outcast for just disappearing for months on end and trying to be the leader again. But
the difficulty here, Jem, is that the Lucha House Party have been they've been segregated, as you put it, into, like, that frequent loser category. I'm not say jobber, because I don't like the word jobber. I think it's overused. But, like, they've been segregated into this, they turn up, they get beaten, and they go away. Mm-hmm. So right now, when the whole idea is like, ooh, is Kalisto leaving? Like, I don't fucking know, because I haven't seen them. Like, granted, this story's had, like, 6 weeks worth of build-up, but it's like 6 weeks of who cares?
Yeah.
It's so,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm just on a bad mood day today. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like...
Well, maybe this is leading into them being separated in the draft. Like, maybe Kalisto is getting drafted and the others staying, or vice versa.
Yeah, well, maybe they want to give one of them a push, and I'm okay with that. That's pretty cool. Like, because right now, one of the big issues WWE has is they don't have enough stars.
Mm-hmm.
So if they think that Kalisto can separate and do well, then sure, I'm okay with that. Give him a run, see what happens.
Yeah,
that's what has to happen. Like, they either have to make that sink or swim decision. They're like, all right, go swim, see if you can do it, because it's what they got to do.
Yeah.
Solitaire also adds, on paper, that match, which is the 6-man tag, should have been fire, but it missed all of the chemistry in the ring, and even Cesaro looked only slightly above average. He goes, maybe the storyline with Kalisto is way bigger on the Spanish version.
Maybe.
But look, once again, maybe they're trying to hit a different demo. In the same way the Hurt Business, like their story is really focused around sort of the African American characters within Raw. Or the actual individuals, their story characters, people's. Like maybe the reason I'm not connecting with it is maybe because that's maybe why, because it's not for me. And maybe this story with the LHP is in the same boat. Like it's just not for me. Like I'm not their audience. I'm not the one they're trying to tell that story to. I know that's giving a lot of like thought and leverage and understanding to WWE, which they may not deliver. But he's spot on. Like that match should have been really, really good. Yeah. But like it was good 3 weeks ago when we saw Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Lucha House Party. We know Matt Riddle's the champion. Like, as in, we know he's good. We know he's really good. And we know Corbin can work. So it's such a weird place. Because if you thought, put it all together, you're like, this should be mad. And I think you mirror me that it wasn't. Yeah,
it just kind of fell flat. For sure. Oh no.
It's just tough to... all right. Let's go to what... Like, I want to bring it up a little bit and then we can bring it back down if we need to. Yeah. Let's talk Universal Championship. I am digging the living shit out of this storyline, might I add. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Yep.
Give us a rundown what went down.
Okay, so we obviously see a video recap of Clash of Champions and Uce versus Uce, Jay versus Roman Reigns. Basically, like, Roman Reigns is screaming at him, like, I want you to acknowledge me as the tribal chief and this, that, and the other. And Jimmy did end up throwing in the towel for Jay, so Jay lost the match. And Paul Heyman and Jimmy acknowledged Reigns, but Jay didn't. And then we come to the ring, and as Paul Heyman starts his spiel about the tribal chief of the WWE, Reigns stops him and he's like, he didn't acknowledge me. He has to acknowledge me. I want Jay out here now. So Jay comes out and just doesn't... He's like, I don't even know you, bro. Like, I'm not going to acknowledge you. I don't even know you. I know, it was savage.
It's pretty brutal. It was good.
And yeah, he claims that if Jimmy hadn't thrown in the towel, like, he was ready for that fight and he would have taken that title. And then, Reigns cracks the shits because Reigns is just like, he's looking at my belt. Is that what you want? Is that all you care about? He's like, everything I did for you, I wanted to get your name on the big billboards and get you that big paycheck to feed your family and this, that, and the other. And he's like, just that whole big spiel. And I can't put words together right now. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But yeah, basically it's still playing on that whole like power struggle of Uce versus Uce and who's on the top of the ranks in the family. And clearly one isn't happy sort of sitting in the middle and is trying to push up. And it's honestly like, it's like Reigns started playing the victim, which is what got me here as well. He's like, I did this for you and this is how you treat me. Yeah. Like started really turning it on him. He's like, I've been working my entire life and like, what you're doing to me right now is disrespectful and heartbreaking. And it's like, bro, you beat the shit out of your own cousin.
See, and that's what I love about it, personally. Because, like, we know, like, from the story, like, it was 2 weeks ago. And he's like, I did it so you would take the L. Like, I picked you so you would take the L for me.
Yeah,
and then
exactly
now he's shifting. And he's like, you did me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I gave you an opportunity. Granted, the opportunity was for you to lose, but I gave you this. You got a main event payday. You know what I mean? Like, you got all the things, and all you had to do was take an L. So the beating that you got is on your fault.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know what I mean?
He's really switching it. And then like the whole spiel, he does end up like hugging Jay and he says something to him which I couldn't catch for the life of me. I tried. And I was like, oh, this shit's going down. Like, Jay sort of stops Reigns as he's walking away and he's like, you know, he's like, why don't we do this at Hell in a Cell? And
I love that too because when Jay's looking at the belt, he's like, he essentially went, you want a rematch? Fuck it, you have a rematch.
Yep, you want it at Hell in a Cell? Fuck it, it's a Hell in a Cell.
It's yours.
Yep.
I don't give a shit. I can say who gets it and you get it. Sure, why not?
Yeah, exactly right.
And I love that because that like it in terms of Roman, like he gives a shit. He like for him he's like, sweet, I get a second win. But even then he's also got that great idea of I'm gonna get that even that second level of like, yeah, I
beat
fuck
your
him
ass,
up.
yeah.
I beat your ass again. I told you. Acknowledge me. Because this whole like wanting to be king of the castle, the tribal leader, I'm digging it. Because as I said, I know that it will end with The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah, it'll be
for the title of the tribal.
Yeah,
leader.
the Samoan dynasty will come to a head, and that's so fucking cool to think about.
That is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and he's just going to go through the brothers 1, the brothers 2, and then both of them together, and then
fuck it, he'll fight Nia Jax as well. She's a cousin of The Rock. Get everyone in there.
Yeah, she'll do that. Yeah. Royal Rumble. He'll take her spot. He'll knock her out and take her spot.
Oh my god, wouldn't that be amazing? The Rock debuts in the Rumble and wins. And that's how we get it.
That's how
like The Rock does. Like The Rock really should just go in and be like, I want a match, and they'd be like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. But I love it that he has like he goes, no, I'm going to go in the Rumble and earn it.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Amazing. He just shows up at Rumble. They're just like, oh, somebody gets knocked out. What's going to happen? Nia Jax tries to walk out and then he just takes her out and takes her spot.
Even if there's a small crowd, even if there's like all crowd, like certainly by January there's not going to be all crowd.
Yeah.
But like everyone at home will do shit and it would be awesome.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so I love where this is going because like for me, like I said, even though I can see the goalpost, I can see the end of this journey. I'm enjoying every step.
Yeah.
And the best thing about this is that it's kind of putting your foot in your mouth a little bit, Jem. Because previously you were like, I don't give a shit about Roman Reigns. He's back. I don't care. Him and his dumb teeth can fuck off. Have you changed your stance?
No, him and his dumb teeth can fuck off.
I think it's amazing. I think
Get out of
the
here,
decision
Mr.
to have heel Roman, great choice.
Oh yeah, definitely
Because
a great choice.
It's hitting... Yeah, it's hitting different notes. Like, granted, you've seen him Healy in Shield, but like not really on his own accord.
Yeah.
And especially after being pushed to the sky by Vince previously, like why the hell not? Paul Heyman's there. Like we know we can Paul Heyman's there just to add the validity to his heel turn. Like Roman's on unlike Brock,
they're
Roman's
a true
on the
heel
mic.
if Paul Heyman's up like their mouthpiece.
Yeah, like Roman's on the mic. He's not, he's still talking. He's still cutting. And like, I don't know about you. When I was watching that promo at the start of SmackDown, I was engaged. Yeah. I was locked in.
Oh yeah.
Where like, they're literally up until one point, I was like, man, SmackDown's promos are really, really good tonight.
Yeah.
And then Carmella came on, and I'm like,
yeah, I was gonna say that was super disappointing. That was like the most boring.
But we'll get into Carmella in just a second. We'll jump into the comments. So Solitaire, shut up a storm. I absolutely love it. He goes, the chief of the tribe. That hits all of the old school notes for me, man. The wild Samoan storyline that should have happened with Captain Lou Albano finally coming to fruition. Now, Solitaire being an NZ man himself, I imagine he got a connection. You're feeling the love for this storyline. Hell yeah. Loving it. He also adds a heel Reigns in FCW, which I've never watched. I watched the documentary of FCW, but I haven't watched any of it itself. He said that was great, and he was suited up and shit.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Oh.
Reigns in a suit would be interesting.
That's a side thing, because he's changed his look. The bulletproof vest is gone. He's just rocking a shirt. He was shirtless at Clash, and I know friend of the show, Josh Robinson, and myself included, were like, yeah.
Sweaty.
I can go with shirtless Roman. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Easy done.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of Carmella, by the way, so we finally discovered that Carmella was even though we all knew like 3 weeks ago that Carmella was the mystery Polaroid woman, destroying windows with lipstick,
mirrors,
and mirrors. What I say, windows, whatever, to drew on things.
Yeah.
And cut the promo that killed SmackDown.
Yeah.
Last like SmackDown was awesome, A to B. I was like, yes, here comes C. What the fuck, Carmella?
Yeah.
And it was literally like a lurch.
Yeah, like a sudden stop. Sudden break.
So her idea, so she touches upon how she sort of got lost a little while, getting involved with R-Truth, doing silly stuff, dancing because that's what the universe wanted. They wanted her to be this person, so she became that person, and look where it got her. Absolutely nowhere.
I just thought of something funny.
Go ahead.
I'm the heel turn version of Carmella, Harshmella.
Oh,
Marshmallow.
Yeah, I felt like we're
That
going.
was terrible.
Going.
That was bad. I'm sorry.
I love it.
Yeah, she's definitely
so-
doing. Yeah, it's a Mella heel turn. She's turning into a Harshmella.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it. She's Harshmallow now.
Yeah.
So like Harshmallow, I like as far as I've been watching, because this week marks my 2-year anniversary on watching wrestling on the weekly. So for those that don't know, I started on Super Showdown here in Australia, and then I fell in love, and I've been watching it every week since. So it's good times. But yeah, so like I've not seen heel Carmella. I've only seen dancing around with R-Truth Carmella.
Yeah, same.
So I have you seen a Harshmallow before?
No, not really. So it'll be
Because
interesting.
like I know
to see.
when the whole Mella is money thing, like when that sort of first kicked in gear, I believe she was a little bit heely.
Yeah,
I don't know, she has that right. Go ahead.
Oh, she hinted at the whole like I'm not your princess anymore, hinting that she's not the Staten Island princess like she claimed to be.
Yeah. I did laugh though. I saw a picture, I think I sent it to you, Jem, of Carmella in her dress with her blonde hair and a picture of like that drunk floozy woman, like the blonde woman from Futurama. I'm like, that's goddamn
That's exactly
genius.
what it looks like. That's great. Holy shit.
Yeah. So how do you think about the idea of her turning on the WWE universe? Because I believe there was someone else to blame the universe this week. I forget who it was.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. There
Always
we go.
Sami Zayn.
So we got Sami Zayn blaming the universe. We got Harshmella yelling at the universe.
Yeah, it seems to be the go-to excuse. You made me do this. Like, no, bitch, you got bored of being boring, and now you're trying to like revamp. Like, don't downplay it, idiot.
Yeah, but this is the thing. The thing that I can't comprehend, that I can't get my head around. It's like I understand when you turn heel, you come back with a different look, different hair color. Cody did it last week. He's got black hair now. 2 weeks ago, he's got black hair now. Bailey came back with blue hair. Sasha Banks cut her hair. Daniel Bryan grew a beard, and then when he became face, he shaved off the beard. But
You
she
got
looks
Sasha
no
Bailey
different
backwards.
to me. Or whatever. Someone cut their hair, someone got blue hair. Fuck it. But she looks exactly like I remember, but in a dress.
Yeah.
If she came and she had like a bob or she had on a fucking mullet.
Yeah.
Oh my God, if she had a mullet.
Right.
She'd take shit from no
It's
one.
like Mandy Rose. She's cut her hair off. Her demeanor's turned from like God's greatest creation to like muscle. Like, if you're gonna do it drastic. Like,
yeah, make it a huge one. Make a big change.
yeah.
Oh, Craig heard the word mullet. Well, speaking of Sami Zayn, let's get into that. Let's get into
You
some
did
Sami Zayn
forget
action.
just before we run into that. After the whole Jey Uso Roman Reigns thing, AJ Styles come out, spoke some shit. They had a match. AJ Styles lost.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
it was a good little thing. Like, basically, like, you can see that AJ's trying to find the next big thing. So,
AJ Styles, the next big thing, should go back to SmackDown. Go back to NXT.
yeah.
That's what he should do. Get him, like, even though I'm pretty sure Finn Balor's got a fucked face right now,
Yeah.
he should still go back there.
Yeah,
Why the hell not? He's not doing a whole lot on SmackDown.
Exactly
He's not doing
right.
a whole lot on Raw. Set him down
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Let
But
punch
yeah,
him.
no, it was a good little match. But yeah, basically, like, AJ's like, hey, like, I really don't want you to see you take a beating again. This is totally about you, but you're not good enough. Give me the title shot. And then they end up in a match. It's basically the whole pretense of
Yeah,
it.
and I agree.
AJ's bold. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
But yeah,
NXT.
at least that does bring us into the Intercontinental Championship, though.
That's the heads of the bullet club
Yeah.
right again. Because if once again, if the match between Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor shows anything, they can have a good, hard wrestling match at NXT, something you're not getting on SmackDown or Raw. Get AJ down there. We know he can do that shit. Give him a revamp. If you want him to not leave and join the Good Brothers when they're done at Impact and go to AEW, then you want him.
Yeah.
Give him something to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Right,
Yeah.
he's doing a whole lot
At least
of
he's moved on from the Intercontinental Championship.
That's true.
Yeah, I knew we could get back into it. So yeah, basically, unfortunately, Sami Zayn did take the win at Clash of Champions. And he makes a little like video basically complaining about having to put his body on the line to win something that was rightfully his, all because of the WWE Universe, you know, sham of his title being taken from him and stuff like that. And he has the belt with Jeff Hardy's nameplates on it, and he throws it in a bin, you know, very symbolic of our time now, is throwing belts in bins, apparently. Yeah, later on this brings us into a match with Jeff Hardy versus Sami Zayn for the title. Obviously, Jeff got a rematch. I believe he deserves it because he lost.
Well, yeah, if your earlobe gets handcuffed to a ladder,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
I can
a pretty
agree.
good reason. Actually, so Jem, as Jem the Piercer, did you feel uncomfortable watching someone's tunnel?
No,
get, like,
never do.
handcuffed?
I hate seeing, like,
Really?
remember the whole Batista getting his nose ring thing ripped out? No, I can't deal
Yeah.
with it. It makes me squeamish as hell. It, like, nah. Like, the fear of earlobes tearing and just, no.
The first thing we thought of when Craig and I watched, like,
I can literally shove needles like 22 mil deep in veins, but I can't watch somebody have their piercing torn out. Can't do it.
Well,
Exactly
it's
right.
not
It
what's
just
supposed to happen.
makes me feel sick. Hate it.
Mad Dog says Sammy took piercing to a
Yeah,
whole new
no,
level.
don't like it.
he certainly
Thanks.
did. Like that's
I was gonna say that's what we call a weight. Like that kind of weight
Like,
for your
and if-
ears is excessive. You don't need that much. Take it easy.
Yeah, if anyone was to rock the
Jeff Hardy?
accessory of a ladder, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure like Jeff
100%.
Hardy's the most deserving because that's his history, his legacy.
Oh
is
man, I want to
defined
find
by a
out what
ladder.
his
I'm
ear
not
size
sure.
is so I can get custom made like tunnels with like a little ladder inlay in them, like round ones with a little ladder on the inside.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice. So my new favorite thing with Sami Zayn right now is when he walks in and he holds that belt up, and does
Oh
that
my
shit-eating
God.
grin with his big beard.
He
I
looks
love it.
like
I
he
absolutely
looks
love
like
it.
a guy
He
that would
looks like such
sit.
an arsehole.
Yeah,
Such an
playing
arsehole.
World of Warcraft, like sitting there with like a screenshot of his like best win or whatever, just like being smug with his neck beard and stuff.
He looks
He really
so
does.
homeless, and I
Yeah.
love it.
He's
literally
got the
looks
hobo
homeless.
jacket
It's
going
beautiful.
on and the cargo short pant things and I just want to give him a bed for the
Love
night.
it. I love it all. So he retains.
He does, yeah,
Remember
sure
right,
does.
he retains?
He uses an exposed turnbuckle to knock Hardy off the top thing, knock himself out.
Yeah, there was a little flurry of like, you're in the
Oh,
turnbuckle.
no.
No, you're in the turnbuckle. It's like, no, you're in the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna jump off it. Don't you jump off it. Ouch.
Sami
And
Zayn
then-
does get the win by knocking him out.
Very, happy with that because it's one of those things when we discussed it with Clash, with Craig and I when he came on and guested, we had the discussion like, what's the storyline out of this? Like, what's Sami going to do if he doesn't win? I was like, well, nothing, so he's going to win.
Yep.
Jeff can still do some shit. AJ can still do some shit because he's AJ Styles. And as I said, he's going to NXT. You heard it here first. It would just make sense. And Sami's good and it adds validity. So he gets to have this. And we saw this here. He's got that ego back. He's got that, like, my shit don't sting. I got a big grin smile. I'm the champion.
Yep.
You all were wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I think we only have... we were with SmackDown Women's Championship. We saw a video from Clash where Bayley had the match against Asuka, but then got boosted with the chair
out of her.
By Banks. Yeah. And this is where we got confirmation that there is a match
next week for the belt. Basically, Sasha's like, after all this time of using me, you thought it would have taught you how to have a backbone. You're nothing but a coward. She's like, basically, I know all your tricks. I made you. You don't stand a chance against me. So it was nice to not see Bayley this week. I think it's going to be quite a long-winded thing. I think it's going to be back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with Bayley somehow doing something to either disqualify herself or something like that, so she wins automatically and she's still got just loses the championship advantage. And I don't know, I kind of see it being dragged out quite a bit.
Well, she used her champion's advantage to keep the belt with Asuka. I was to get the win on Asuka, but she didn't. To keep the title after Asuka at Clash.
Oh yeah.
Does she lose her advantage only if Asuka takes her on again, or does she return to her unless she takes Asuka on again? She retains her advantage.
You only get one altogether.
That's what I thought. So, in theory, Bayley could go into this without her champion's advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where it could go. This is one of those ones that I'll just have to kind of sit and watch because I don't know what could happen with it. I kind of know that I think Bayley's on a roll now. I think she's finally found herself. And I think I'd like to see her hold that title a bit longer.
Yeah, I would enjoy, because I said in terms of the future for both of them, Bayley is really starting to get some good momentum as a heel now. So with Bayley making this turn back to being face, it's too soon. I think give her a little bit longer because, as we've said here and as everybody tends to agree, that the chase is always best.
I feel like...
Also, shout out to Delicate Stone in the chat. Sorry, shout out to Delicate Stone in the chat.
Oh, yeah. I think that there's also that implement of, obviously, we haven't seen Charlotte Flair in a little while, and maybe she can come back and stir things up and maybe...
Well, she's got a busted shoulder, I think, right? I think she broke her whatever this bone is. What's this one? The clavicle.
Maybe not. Yeah, no, never mind.
So she might be on for a while. Who knows? But maybe Becky comes back, baby in hand, and starts fucking people up.
Baby Lynch.
I don't know if she's had a baby yet, but when was that? June? She's pretty close. Ha! Mad Dog's got the right idea here. Bayley versus Michael Cole. Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, God. Bayley really has it out for Michael Cole.
Gimme. So, before we jump into the final segment, which nicely connects to the episode of Raw, with Hell in a Cell. Now, I took that the Roman Reigns Jey Uso match, they said to be in a Hell in a Cell. Oh, thank you for the 500 biddies, my friend, giving us all the love. So he's essentially said that it will be a Hell in a Cell match. And then we know from Raw that there's a Hell in a Cell match between that. Because I was personally hoping that we'd get Sasha versus Bayley in a Hell in a Cell.
I think it'll lead into that.
Like,
I think it has to.
Yeah, but like they can't all. They normally only ever have two Hell in a Cell matches, one for the women, one for the men, and now they've already lined up 2 men.
I don't know. Maybe they're giving us some more.
Like it's a bit. Maybe
Yeah.
I
I don't know. That's actually an interesting thing to think about. I mean, I'd like to see more I'd like to see more cells at Hell in a Cell. So I don't mind having a third match thrown in there.
Mm. But I guess would the novelty wear off if they just have like 4 matches? Because now that with the reduced time for pay-per-views, you know, they're not extending them out. So they're like, we're gonna have 4 Hell in a Cell matches, like out of a 6.
Or maybe they extend it out to what's the next big one? SummerSlam? Survivor Series. No, they wouldn't extend it out to Survivor Series. Tricky.
Yeah. I imagine maybe we'll just get 2 men's matches. Because they're apart, like Asuka's not really got anyone lined up to make it worthwhile, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's get into this. I'll let you jump on this, Jem. We'll talk about the Kevin Owens show, and that'll then take us into SmackDown.
Into SmackDown.
What'd I say?
Yeah, it's okay. I am too.
Sorry, I'm very sorry.
So yeah, basically, KO's getting his cue cards handed to him backstage, and you see the TV behind him flicker with the Funhouse and the Fiend and stuff like that. He's come to SmackDown from Raw to do a guest episode of the KO show with that quarterly switcheroony thing. You know, the Booker T. Yeah,
Booker
T switcheroony or whatever. But yeah, so she comes out and Kevin Owens is like, you know, he's basically like, I have a lot of questions. Like, who are you now? Like you're not, I look into your eyes and I don't see Alexa Bliss. You know, you've always been fun, lovey and bouncy and fun and stuff like that. And now he's like, you've got this newfound anger, this darkness. And he starts mentioning some stuff about, like Aleister Black. And he's like, you know, I see it in Aleister Black now. And Alexa's like, have you ever been around him, Kevin? She's like, it's captivating and terrifying. And she's like, you know, she's all like trance-like. And Kevin Owens is like, we're not talking about Aleister Black now, are we? And she's like, yeah. She's like, yeah.
I was. He's so dreamy.
And she's basically like, you know, he's like, you know, she's like, the Fiend has changed me. He's like, Kevin Owens is like, you seem brainwashed. And she's like, I am. I've been cleansed from all the lies and the evil and yada, yada, yada. And yeah, she just keeps talking about him and KO's like, oh shit, he's here now, isn't he? And Alexa's like, he's everywhere. I can hear him now. Let him in. And KO stands up and throws his chair. And then everything shuts down, and the arena goes red, and then everything comes back in. And Alexa Bliss is sitting in her little chair staring at the Fiend, like mandible clawing Kevin Owens. And then...
But what I love, though, is because as Bray Wyatt's fighting Kevin Owens' face, like the ring is just bouncing.
She's deadpan.
She's like stared-eyed, just like bouncing on her chair. Because the
and
ring
then
is just rocking.
the Fiend slowly walks over and he puts his hand out, and Alexa Bliss puts her hand in, and ooh, yeah, and then the dish run away with a spoon. But yeah, it's looking interesting.
I like it. I like where this is going. Like it's once again. The irony that we have to face here, Jem, is we're like, there's not enough long-term storytelling, and we're getting some, and we're like, yeah. And then we're also getting some, and it's like, boo. Like he's long-term for us. About the Lucha House Party. I don't fucking care, boo. So here's long-term storytelling about Alexa.
I wish there were a Rumble from 2008, and I shit you not, like half the superstars that are in the rosters were in that Royal Rumble. Like there was John Morrison and The Miz and MVP and Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, and was Bobby in it? He might not have been, but there was just like so many people that I was like, oh, holy shit, this is ridiculous. And I was live tweeting watching it, and Tommy, like I tagged Tommy Dreamer, or I just wrote his name actually. I'm like, oh holy shit, a holy nostalgia, Tommy Dreamer. And he slid into my DMs and he was like, best Royal Rumble ever. And I was like, hey, Tommy Dreamer's in my DMs.
I'm like, I'll give you the
I was
best
just
Royal
like,
Rumble.
oh,
and then
mother nostalgia. That was cool. Sorry, I just had to tell that. But yeah, it's like, 12 years ago,
it's a good
guys
brag.
that I was watching
Good
12
brag.
years ago are still wrestling. It's wild.
It's awesome.
Wild.
Awesome. But it's also like, yeah, it's a weird place. But yeah, so what's your stance on
Love it. I love it.
Trans-Alexa?
I'm loving this whole,
Trans-Alexia?
part of the swamp vibe. Like, I dig it. I dig it. I bet she let him in.
Well, like
She let him in, all right.
yeah, she He asked
Consensually.
me to. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's good consensual letting in. You know what I mean? It's very nice. But like as I said, like I'm digging the whole new look. It's apparently apparently I'm into that shit. Like so, which I already kind of knew because it's Alexa Bliss. But like I'm like that and the braids and the jackets. I'm like, yeah, no, this is my thing now.
Whatever you do, Alexa,
This is
I like
how you
it.
learn about stuff, I guess. You learn.
What's that? Your
Yeah,
suits now
you
beautiful.
learn.
Love
You
them.
learn.
I wear one
Interesting,
every day.
Alexa Bliss in a gimp suit. You know what?
I'm wearing one too.
Apparently I like gimp suits now. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss is pooping on things. Well, I guess that's it now. That line has been crossed.
Yeah.
Can't go back now. I'm sorry. Alexa Bliss does it. Yeah, look, I'm enjoying it. I'm wondering where it's leading to. Like, because there was when she did that made the appearance at the swamp match at whatever SummerSlam. It was like, oh, cool. Are they leading to her to do some Sister Abigail stuff? And I think they could be, but or they, maybe it's like Bride of Frankenstein, like Bride of Fiend kind of shit. Maybe that's where they're going.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, like Bride of Chucky style thing, the Bride of
And
Fiend.
they sort of get this like
Oi.
duo thing going on. Yeah, Bride of Chucky, Bride of Frankenstein.
I like that.
Like that'd be mad. Like, but once that happens though, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, what would be like they had a winning line storied recently, and they've already forgotten.
Who
about
knows?
it.
Who knows?
I don't know. I like it. I'll take the ride. I'll enjoy it. Jem, before we jump into the next part, we talk about Raw. Let's do our not so patented Kurt Angle rating system. For those that don't know, those playing for the first time, we rate what we believe Raw or SmackDown to be based on Kurt Angle because he looks like a thumb. The best you can get is 2 Kurt Angles. You can get a Kurt, you can get a Kurt in a bar, or you get 2 Kurts, or a bar, or nothing.
Big old Triple H.
Jem, what do you think of SmackDown?
Yeah. Look, apart from that Carmella thing, honestly, I thought it was pretty solid again this week. SmackDown seemed to be doing it real tidy. I'd probably generously go a Kurt and a bar. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I'm probably I'd probably give it the same because Carmella kind of stopped it in its tracks. Even though I love Alexa, her promo was a little bit off at the start, but it kind of backended it okay. Like once she sort of stopped doing the whole, I don't know what you're talking about. Like once that transitioned into her doing the fiendy things, I'm like, yeah, I'm back in. Yeah. So I'm in a similar boat. Kurt and a bar for me too. Happy
really
with it.
is,
SmackDown is becoming the number 1 show again for me. Out of the 2, there was a window of time where it was floundering, and no, it's not the SmackDown we were promised. Excuse me, this time last year. But it's
doing
pretty good right now.
Sorry, my contact lens is sitting funny.
It's right. My throat's all thingied. I'm getting too passionate about drafts and Alexa Bliss. It's just crazy. All right, let's get into Raw, Jem. Let's kick off.
Yeah,
with the Kevin
definitely.
Owens thing.
So,
let's keep that rolling on.
We get another KO show on Raw, and KO wants his guest to be the Fiend, and he calls out Bray Wyatt because he's basically like, he's like, he got me, like I felt the change, and I'm angry, and I want to fight, and KO's like, let's go, basically, and Firefly Funhouse comes up, and Bray's just like, oh, my new friend Kevin. And then he sings this terrible song about friends. It was not even matching the music at all.
But not even matching the music.
It was horribly great.
It was so poor.
And then KO calls him out, and he's like, oi, like, cut it with the demented Mr. Rogers reboot act. And he's like, we could have been friends until you, basically fisted my mouth. And you know, he's like, you know, whatever's going on with Alexa Bliss is none of your business. It's between her and him, and you should really be careful and watch out for what you're getting yourself into. And KO's like, fine, if you don't want to come to me, then I'll come to you, and starts storming out and then gets attacked by Aleister Black. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets like straight up like decked. He's like,
absolutely.
I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
just like
quickly.
eats poo very quickly. See, this is that weird line, right? Because here we are being like, Kevin Owens went to SmackDown. Kevin Owens is going to SmackDown. But like, ooh, The Fiend made an appearance at Raw. Maybe The Fiend's going to Raw. Like because it's that situation of he's like, I think keep him away from the Universal title. Because like,
I think what's going on there is fine. I think he'll stay on SmackDown. And yeah, I think with
Retribution on Raw, it's like that, like the gimmicky, cool, like the gimmicky stuff is handled. You know, so they don't need to have have a group of hooligans. Yeah, and then the Fiend on top. That might be a bit much. Yeah, okay, well, I just convinced myself that he's staying on SmackDown. I was like, no, he's going to Raw in my head, and then I just kind of fixed it in my head. That's all right. So, how do you think we're having this go across the two shows? Does this add to it?
No, I think it can cause it to fizzle out really quickly when you're putting them on both shows. Yeah, I feel like it needs that weekly spread out in like from show to show, not brand to brand. So yeah, I feel like they if they want to keep this going, they need to tread very lightly because they've already done quite a bit with it.
Speaking of something that's already seemed to have fizzled out is these Bianca Belair promo vids. So we previously had seen, you know, her being the fastest, like her running, you know, on a circuit with some people. Loved it because like she had that cocky confidence to it. But she, you know, it wasn't like arrogant. Yeah. So she was just, I'm just faster than you. And then in the first, she's like, I'm just stronger than you. You know, and I like them because those two like were earned, right? Like she's like, I've gotten stronger, therefore I am the strongest. I've trained, therefore I'm faster. And now I'm the fastest. So this one was about her being the smartest. So she's having a quiz game with some of her friends. And she just decimates them. Like, there's two reasons why I didn't like this as much. Now, one of them being, granted, all these things edited to shit, so she didn't really run faster than everybody else. Duh. But like, to me, this reeked of whenever you hear people trying to be intelligent or try to sound intelligent. Like
they come off arrogant
what if E equals MC squared? No, like, oh no. They come off arrogant, or they actually come off dumber, because you can clearly tell that they're trying to be smart. And like the questions and answers that they used here were just so arbitrary, like that I was like, oh, I'm not believing that she is the smartest. And like the arrogance that comes of her decimating these four other people intellectually. With trivia, like, because trivia isn't a demonstration of intelligence, but I guess in a promo, how else do you demonstrate intelligence quickly?
I don't know. It definitely fell flat for me as well. It was just really off the mark. They've been doing so well for so many weeks, and it's just kind of lost it here. And I'm just like, meh.
Like, but are you like I said, I can think I can put my finger on it. Are you in the same boat, or is you?
Nah, I'm kind of stuck. I think I'm sick of seeing promos, and I just want to see her in the ring already.
Yeah, because like having her, like we know that she's on Raw. We know she's on Raw like a while ago, like back before they went to Thunderdome, right? So cool. Why are they promoting her like she's never been here before? But I've kind of warmed up to her music, though, at least.
Yep, I can agree to that. Yeah.
Because originally it made me angry. I was like, ugh. You know, but the more I'm hearing, the more I'm like, yeah, It is you against the world. Fuck yeah.
Um,
All right, what do you want to touch upon next, Jem?
Let's see. Yeah, let's just get it out.
Let's keep going with the 24/7 championship.
So basically, R-Truth is putting up his own mock draft thing, talking to little Jimmy, his imaginary friend. And Jimmy says something, and Truth looks back and he's like, "Yeah, that's just a custodian." And then suddenly there's a referee, and R-Truth is like, "Oh no, Randy Orton's come to get me!" And I know, it was ridiculous. And then as he's running away, he trips over the water bucket, and Drew Gulak gets the pin, and it turns out it's Drew Gulak, and he picks up the wet side, and he's just like, "See you next fall," and runs off. And that was probably the best part of this whole thing.
No. The best thing about it when he's like, "That's a janitor."
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. A custodian.
Oh, shit, it's Randy Orton.
Shit, it's Randy Orton.
And then,
like, it's just a throwaway bit because, like, with last week with Randy Orton and his night vision goggles, it was awesome. And then later on, he's staring at him and he's clearly Drew Gulak. He's like, "You ain't gonna get my belt, Randy Orton."
They end up,
I'm like, yeah, I love you, Archie.
yeah, they find they end up fighting in a dumpster, and then Akira Tozawa's in a bin, and then R-Truth gets his title back, and then he does a runner. Oh my god, it was a bit funny this week with the Randy Orton thing. I'll give it that.
Yeah, the Randy Orton thing was a good laugh for me. I got a kick out of that. Mad Dog also has the Truth's mock draft list was great. I didn't catch what was on it.
What did I see? Yeah, I'll have to go back and look it up. I remember seeing some names and now I'm completely forgetting about them. Oh, but it was funny. I remember laughing. I remember pausing it and laughing at it. I should have taken note.
So the issue that I see here, Jem, is the 24/7 championship really worked when there was crowds.
Yeah.
There are currently no crowds, so that interaction is kind of lost. And for some reason, because it used to be the loser locker room, right? So it'd be a bunch of people chasing it. They all got let go. So we're only seeing the same 3-4 people. And the 24/7 championship was kind of a way to bring in outside artists, celebrities, whatever, right? And with COVID, they can't do that. They can't just bring someone in to be the new 24/7 champion. So we're seeing it swap hands. Like R-Truth is what,
something
the
like that,
5-time 24/7 champion. Like we're getting a little bit silly at this point, right? Yeah, I mean, like like we've really gone past that point of oh, okay, I see where this is going. Like it's getting like because Akira, like Drew Gulak should be doing so much more. Like he had that great what would have been his final match with Daniel Bryan, and then everyone was like, no, give essentially similar to Drake Maverick, like no, give Gulak a contract. He's fucking awesome. Everyone like don't let him leave. And they keep him around and he's chasing up 24/7? No, that's not good.
Yeah.
There's a complete misuse of his skills. Now, I understand that with Daniel Bryan out on pat leave, like what the one thing they would have had the connection to is gone. All right, so Mad Dog has sent us the picture. We've got this. He believes that SmackDown will get the following: Ninja number 1, Mercy the Buzzard, Little Jimmy, Mr. McMahon, Charlie Caruso, Brother Love, Sister Abigail, and Sam Roberts. On Raw, I can't quite read them all, but I see Road Dogg, Rainbow Serpent. I don't know. He got like Peter someone.
Yeah.
It looks like he had some fun. He's just pulling names out of his asshole. Love it. Love it. And does that tell me who it is? I know this is interesting radio. But no, it didn't any other one specific. But I love that.
Yeah.
I love how Mercy the Buzzard is going to be separated. That's a shame.
Oh god, I love it.
All right. Let's move along.
6-woman tag match? Yeah, so we saw
Six
Selena
from ten.
Vega, Lana, and Natalia versus Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and Asuka, which I was like, I can vibe this.
Yeah. It's if anything felt like
Yeah.
more of a
And it was a
gem
really
match,
good
I think
match.
that's a gem
Mandy
match.
Rose ended up getting the win with a pump knee strike on Lana for the 1-2-3. And obviously oh, absolutely.
Yeah, fucking rocked her face, but
But obviously over the last couple of weeks we saw Lana and Natalia complaining about Shayna and Baszler and Nia Jax not competing at Clash of Champions and how they should just hand over the titles and stuff. So they end up coming out. Zelina hightails it and they beat the shit out of Lana and Natalia, with Natalia being Lana being put through the announce table with a Samoan drop for the third time from Nia Jax. Now, 3's a charm. She sure can. But that leads into the women's tag team championship match, which was finally the Riot Squad versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. How they can be cleared one night but not the other, I don't understand, but that's fine.
yeah, because the rumor mill was this concerns for COVID.
Exactly right.
COVID takes longer than 7 days.
But yeah, another good match. Unfortunately, Ruby Riott does end up tapping out to a Karafuna clutch, which Shayna Baszler refuses to let go, and she has to be pried off of Ruby. But yeah, so Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler retain. So, yeah.
Cool. Corrected. Mad Dog sad
no,
though,
that
because
was
there's no
a bit
Peyton.
That was a bit. There was plenty of
SmackDown. She's gonna dethrone Bayley.
There was plenty of
that get you excited, Mad Dog?
plenty of our Melbourne boy Murphy, which was nice.
Yeah. We'll get into that. Once again, I'm gonna let you run this story. Like whenever we talk,
it's
the
it's
Mysterios, this is you.
It's
Because
getting
you
more
got
and more
that history,
telenovela, man.
You got that love.
I was sitting there.
Isn't it
I was
awesome?
shaking my head the entire time.
It's
like,
so
oh
good.
my god, this really is the Young and the Restless. Holy shit. But yeah, basically, Seth Rollins and Murphy are going to be having a match against Dominic Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo. Murphy and Rollins come out and Seth's trying to get the microphone and Murphy's refusing to give it. And Murphy grabs the microphone and is like, look, you need to apologize. Not to me, to Aaliyah. And Seth is like, I need to apologize. I'm the Messiah. You're the disciple. The shit you've done to me in the past 2 weeks, you should apologize to me. He's like, I took it easy on Aaliyah. Like, I kept her out of this for the most part. I didn't tell everybody about how she feels about her family truly, and that her family don't acknowledge her accomplishments, and that Dominic's the chosen child. And
Side note, I love that. Like, look,
yeah,
I didn't tell them about
what I'm about to tell you about now,
yeah,
and just spill it out to the
Seth
earth
Rollins,
anyway.
bastard.
And they obviously start getting a bit aggressive with each other, and then Humberto Carrillo and Dominic come out, and they have a match. And throughout the match, Seth is just handing it to Murphy. Like, Murphy has to force his own tags in, and Seth's yelling at him like, I'm the Messiah, you're the disciple. I don't need you and shit like that. And Murphy's like, you don't need me, huh? You don't need me. Murphy ends up getting the win on Humberto with a big old knee strike, I think. And he just storms out on Seth. And Seth goes chasing after him like, I don't even need you. And Murphy's like, you don't need me, huh? You don't need me. And they end up backstage, and Seth is like, you know what? You got to apologize. You want me to apologize to you? You got to apologize to me. And you know what? You have to do it by 10 p.m. And yeah,
in your face. What you do about that, buddy?
And so they end up eventually like coming out to the ring. And Seth's just like, so you're going to apologize? You're going to apologize? And he keeps like pushing. It's just like, before this, Murphy runs into Aaliyah, and he's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, you don't have to worry about me. Like, are you really going to apologize to Seth? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Are you seriously considering apologizing to him? No.
Oh my god, it's so dreamy. He's
Fucking
so
hell.
angsty. I could change
Get
him.
me a stubby bitch. No, but yeah, it was very that. It was very like, no, don't worry about me. What are you gonna do, my love?
It's your feelings that are important.
Yeah.
'Cause you're my
But yeah, so
boyfriend.
Murphy comes out and he's not saying anything to Seth, and Steph is like, "It's easy, Murphy. Apologize. It's easy. It's just say you're sorry." And they like Seth gets pissed off to the point where he's like yelling at Murphy's face, and he like spit on him, and I was like, "Bruh." Yeah, I was like, "Bruh,
Imagine by
COVID.
the
Don't be spitting on the boy."
Yeah. It's already, he's already breaching COVID by going to town on Aaliyah. Don't be
But yeah,
like
they end
spitting
up
in his
erupting
face.
into a massive brawl, and Seth tries to get a kendo stick. Murphy ends up grabbing it off him, beating the shit out of Seth Rollins while Seth is begging him to stop. Like, please, Murphy, no, you've done enough. Please, no, stop. No, please. They're getting like his ass fucking handed to him. And that whole like, no, please is a ploy just so Murphy would drop the kendo stick so Seth could attack him, which he does.
And then he's like, surprise, motherfucker, and just goes straight
I'll
for
take
the
your
eye
eyes
holes
out
with
too.
thumbs.
Fuck you,
Like,
Alistair Black, number 2. And yeah, he goes out. Seth jumps out to get a chair, and when he comes back, Aaliyah's sitting there like, no, stop. And then like, my boyfriend.
She's
And
not my
Seth's just like,
boyfriend.
okay. And then all the Mysterios come running down, and Seth hightails it after getting a little bit of a duzz by. Does he get a duzz or just? I think he just runs off. Yeah, he just hightails it.
No, it's fine.
And then
It's
poor
fine.
Aaliyah, like Dominic and Ray and Angie get in the ring and like drag her away from poor Murphy writhing in the ring. And every time she looks back, Dominic's like, "Stop it! What are you doing? Stop looking back! Like, think about what he, think about what he's done to us.
Look at my boyfriend.
Yeah,
Is he okay?
think about what he's done to us."
really
It is
Julia
so
bullshit. I love
telenovela, and I'm just like, sighs in Spanish, like. Subtitles just yeah. It's so cheesy, and like I just want to see him make out already. Like just have them kiss. Just let it. Just
Yeah. That's what. That's, like, in a
just
COVID
do it.
world,
Don't
are we
care.
allowed to
Like,
on-screen
just-
macking?
here, have coronavirus. That's how much I love you.
Yeah,
Sharing is
just
caring.
or even where it just cuts to like some legs just going to town behind a roadie box or something, you know, like because he's Australian. He's not
Quick
polite.
shag in the back. Wait, babe, would a shag in a stage box?
Oh,
Yeah, right.
shit. This is awesome.
Fucking sure.
Yeah, right. Sure. It's so dreamy. Like, yeah, come on,
Jump in my car. It's a stage box. Oh god. Yeah.
Oh, it's so great. It's so
Yeah,
like, so
it's-
bad and
it's a
good at
crazy
the same
mix.
time. I'm loving it. And once again, we see Seth Rollins drop hell. You know, we see another person.
Oh
drop
yeah,
the
and
word
Seth
hell.
like
So it
yeah,
looks like we're seeing
watching on
Buddy versus
smiling
Seth
as
at Hell in a
Aaliyah's being
Cell.
dragged out by her family.
So, like, what if you want to go to like full novella, it ends Seth Rollins on the mat, dead. Buddy's got 1 foot on his chest, 1 foot off. Aaliyah in his arms, like,
Rose and everything. Doing a full Angel Gaza.
Rose in one hand, just tongue bashing. Yeah.
As you can see, Buddy Murphy's got a new friend.
That's what I want to see. That's where I hope this goes.
Taking some hints from the master.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only best way it
Lear
can
in one
end.
arm, Angie in the other.
Yeah, just tonguing them both.
Oh, we're fucked.
Ray's in the back, like, oh no, like every good novella never just ends. There's always more story. And in the back, you see Ray looking at him with one eye.
Oh, we need to copyright this before WWE steals it. Oh god, that got out of hand.
Oh shit. Or to make it more novella, we've like just more soap opera, right? We're like, Aaliyah's like, oh, buddy loves me. He's my boyfriend, and he's like, I don't want you, I want Ange. He's doing this the whole time. He's just getting through Aaliyah.
Sleeping his way to the top. I'm your mother now.
Yeah. He's like, I'm Mr. Mysterio. I'm Buddy Mysterio.
Oh, God. Aaliyah. And he'll be like, Dominic, I'm your puppy.
If it doesn't end with a foot plant and tongue bash, I'm going to be devastated. Yeah, Dominic, I'm your puppy now. Oh, my God. There it is. Credits.
End scene.
That is how it ends. End scene. We receive a Spanish Oscar for our writing credits on this beautiful, or a Logie. I don't know what what's the equivalent of a telenovela or a Logie. I guess it's a Logie. Yeah, give us a Logie. It hurts so much. Dios mío.
No, hermano.
Also, hey Chris, man, how you doing? Oh. That's where it crossed the line. We can't, even when I did my my boyfriend, it does sound a little bit Mexican, so I probably a little bit Spanish twist on it. I felt like that may have been racist. And you're just straight up Jennifer Lopez from South Park. So yeah, that's how it
Jennifer
ends.
Lopez.
Oh, Murphy! Yeah. Oh, Murphy, you are so perfect. So spectacular in every way.
Oh, God.
Almost made me forget about tacos. Tacos are good. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Give me more. God, look, such a racist bit in hindsight, but I still laugh at it every time. All right, let's keep moving forward. That's a great segment.
Yes, must watch. Absolute
great
must watch.
segment. Us.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah, it
and
really
them.
is. Yeah,
Brilliant.
Young and the Restless. So after this, we see another cross-branding of Braun Strowman coming across. Yeah, and he's like, I know Underground's not on tonight, but I want to fight.
Why? It's been mentioned
idea.
anywhere why we haven't seen Underground in 2 weeks? Did COVID happen there?
Yeah,
Did that
maybe.
really tall guy at the door got it? Man, he is so huge. He'd have so much COVID.
Yeah,
he'd
but
be crazy.
yeah, this, Adam Pearce is on the phone and he gets approached by Braun Strowman. Braun's just like, I know Underground's not on. I didn't come all this way for nothing. I want to fight. And Adam's like,
We mean come all this way. It's the same
and Adam's
SmackDown.
like, oh, look, I can't put you in a match because you're not a rostered WWE, WWE Raw superstar. But I can do you an exhibition match. And Braun's like, what the hell? And he's like, it's unsanctioned. And he's like, I don't care who it is, so long as somebody gets these hands. And walks away. Adam Pearce turns around. Keith Lee is there. And he's like, Keith. And Keith's just like, sign me up. And we get Keith Lee versus Braun Strowman in an unsanctioned match, which confused me because I thought unsanctioned meant you could only win by a pinfall or submission, but they were counted out. So I'm a little bit confused about that. I know that does it just mean that it doesn't matter how you win or lose, but it doesn't count? Is that what unsanctioned means?
Well, an unsanctioned match means it doesn't count to win-loss record, which that never does WWE.
Yeah.
And it's just
So
an unofficial
would there be
match.
countouts?
See, but it can still have rules.
Yeah.
But the result doesn't matter. So the second that it gets counted out, Braun's like, what the fuck are you doing, you idiot? Who cares?
And then he's like, you see how much I care?
I did love that.
And he puts
part,
Keith
really.
Lee through the
That really
barricade.
tickled my fancy.
And then Keith Lee gets up and they end up fighting and they throw each other into the...
He gets up and just goes,
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's
yes,
so good. And just goes
Keith.
barreling up the ramp, beating into Braun, throws him into an LED board, and then throws them both off the side of the stage. Big ol' yeet from Keith Lee. Beautiful.
Which was, Braun tried to yeet Keith. Turns out he is limitless, and he also cannot be yeeted. He's yeeted.
And that's why I want to see Braun come across, because I think it would be Exactly right. Meat on meat.
Big
I
beef.
want to see Leon on Strowman. Yep, bring it on. Yeah.
Yep. Big thumbs up.
Yep. Monster
Give me
Among
that.
Men
Give me
versus
that.
Limit Lord 1.
Well, yeah, because I presume they're gonna like. Is it if he comes across as part of the thing, we'll get a rematch? That's what I want to see.
I think they're
So,
starting a
win.
storyline with them there.
Give big old thumbs up. Yeah, and the problem is we won't see it until they make the decision on where who's going where. But sure, whatever. That's what haven't we discussed? Oh, we'll do the Hurt Business last. Let's get into WWE Championship, Jem.
So opening of the night, Randy Orton's sitting in the room where he beat up the Legends last week, and he's like, I don't remember much from the match. All I remember is being, chokeslammed by the Big Show and attacked by Christian and super kicked by Shawn Michaels, and then driven off in an ambulance after being super kicked into it by Drew McIntyre with Ric Flair driving.
Yeah, so she pretty much went through all the motions.
Talks about apparently how erratic Ric Flair's driving was and how he felt like he was being bashed around in the dark and he was fearful. And basically he's like, I wanted the Legends to feel what I felt, so that's why I went into that room.
Side note, that means that he's implying that Ric Flair actually drove to a hospital with missing a door and a busted-ass windscreen. He is already an old man that shouldn't have his license, and even doubled down that he didn't think to stop.
No, he's just like, I'm going to drive with my head out the window like Ace Ventura.
Woo!
Yeah, but he's basically like, I did that so they could feel what I felt being in the back of that ambulance, getting beat up in the darkness. I wanted them to feel pain, because every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction, and I had to show that to them. And this is over when I say it's over, and not until I say it's over, because I'm Randy Orton and I say when it's over. As he's sort of finishing off his speech, talking about where everybody was lying and what he did, Drew McIntyre breaks in and starts beating the living shit out of him, and he has to crawl out of the room to get away while Drew's being held down. And then Drew's getting interviewed by Charlie backstage. And he's just like, I'm going to direct this all to Randy Orton, and basically just says, I'm going to take you straight to hell, yada, yada, yada. Basically just saying, I accept a Hell in a Cell match with you. And
I do like this thing that Drew's been doing recently, where he's like, "Hi, yeah, Charlie. Okay, I'm just going to talk to the camera. Thanks, Charlie." Hi,
basically.
I do like this approach he's got with Randy.
Really,
I'm really
really
enjoying
good,
it.
for sure. But this also, we find out later in the night, Randy Orton, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler will be versing the Street Profits and Drew McIntyre in a 6-man tag match, which, amazing match, by the way, ends in Robert Roode eating a Claymore, but that opens Randy Orton to RKO Drew McIntyre as he's getting up, so Randy Orton gets the win by pinning the champion. I
know who was the leader.
But interesting to see Randy Orton pinning Drew McIntyre. Yeah.
Clean pin. So, because right now in their two singles matches, Drew's 2 for 2. So the idea is either he's gonna get his third.
Yep.
And then that ends the story, or Randy wins and it keeps going, or does it end? Mm-hmm. Because the clean's good, but it's also the hands of a distraction. Like, I don't know. Like, I looking at this, it's tough for me to see where, because I'm still pretty confident that Randy's going to get the title. I think it's a big part of that. But I guess this is it. But then, what's the story then, that Drew McIntyre can beat you, but I'm always going to be better than you. But clearly I wasn't those two other times.
That's a tricky one.
I just can't. I'm trying to put the stone, I'm trying to create the path to the story or the goal, and I can't.
Yeah, I can agree there.
I can't work it out. I'm not saying that I'm very happy to go on the ride. Or be like, surprise, motherfucker, you're on SmackDown now. Eat a dick, and then Randy's just sad over on SmackDown. But as the big Randdaddy fan, are you still happy with this continuing?
I think it's starting to wear thin. I'll put up with it, but I'm not it's not something I'm craving.
Because there's at least, what?
Mm-hmm.
Hell in a Cell is the end of the month. So we've presumably got 3 more weeks of this.
Yeah.
Presuming they stay where they're supposed to.
Yeah, that's where it's getting tricky.
What if with the draft they just go, fuck it, everyone's everywhere.
Oh, that could
Free
cause
for all.
some problems.
Wild card.
Yeah.
I'd
That
just
could cause some
vomit right
problems.
now. Speaking of causing problems, though, let's get up into the last section of Raw this week, which was the Hurt Business getting involved with Retribution once again. So they started the night. They did have there was MVP approaches the Hurt Business. MVP approaches Apollo Crews, Mustafa Ali, and Ricochet, being like, "Hey, you guys are always getting your ass kicked. You know, you may have done something last week, but you may have won the fight. You ain't win the war. We're gonna kick your ass real soon." However, I feel like being generous tonight. The doors are open. We'll take one more member for the Hurt Business. It could be any one of you. Make the choice. We'll come see you at the end of the night. Cool. Ricochet has a moment of like, maybe I should. Then we get out into the ring. There was a match between Bobby and Apollo Crews. Bobby and Shelton Benjamin versus Ricochet and Apollo Crews. It was a match.
Yeah.
I forget how. Did we write down how it won?
Where is it? Yeah, Crews tapped to a full Ashley.
Something happens. Oh yeah! Once again, Apollo Crews gets put into the Hurt Lock, and he's like dragged around. Is apparently tapped at some point.
His legs tapped the shoulders of Bobby Lashley.
Ali gets up. Yeah, Ali gets up in MVP's bin. He's like, "Look, you motherfucker, I'll fight you." And he's like, "All right, fine. See you in the ring later."
Oh, basically, Ali's like, "Yeah, I'm alone,
reinforced.
but I don't want you to be alone. Bring your goons, because I'm going to put the hurt on you, and then you're next, and then you're next."
So I'm gonna put the hurt on you and you
next one.
and you. So yeah, comes into the ring. MVP's there, geared up. Ali's there, geared up. Goons are there. Cool. Things start getting busy. Lights dim. Lights come back up. Retribution are there. Ali is standing there looking kind of just as baffled. The Hurt Business are like, "Well, are you with us or not, dude? Because this shit's about to go down." Ali backs into the circle as well, puts his back against the Hurt Business, getting ready to fight. They're all approaching fucking Bing Bong and Butt Jack and
yeah, Toe Bar and Mace
Toe
Face
Bar
and Pancake and
yeah, and Mac Attack, like everyone
and
gets
Piggle.
in. But yeah, Macapaca and the Bing Bong,
Tumbly Blues,
and the Upsy Daisy, Tumbly Boos. That, oh my god, there we go. Decision made. They're just characters from In the Night Garden now. Yeah, so Eagle Piggle, Upsy Daisy, the Tumbly Boos, they all start coming in. They're yelling.
Oh,
at each
it looks
other.
more
They're
like they were taunting Ali, like, "Oh, we
pushing.
told you," and like the Hurt Business, like, "Ha ha ha, yeah." And then Ali like rolls out of the ring and he gets all up in like T-Face and Mace Bones jizz.
Yeah, he gets all up in Tumbly Boo and Macapaca, and they're like, "Huh?" And he's like,
Get him.
"Yeah, huh?"
It turns out Ali is in charge of Retribution.
And next thing, yeah. So as he makes that point, Plinky Plonk gets in the ring, and it's just like, you're bussing.
Yeah.
Jess is in the chat. Old Rocker. She's like, "Wait, is this the In the Night Garden now?" We couldn't remember all their dumb names, so yes, they are now. All the characters in Retribution are from In the Night Garden. Because I don't.
I heard Mace, T-Bar, and Flapjack. That's all I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, but I'm having fun with it.
I heard Macapaca.
Man, so like
that's what they sound like too. They're like,
today, you know, I think the best part about what we issue, like we have Randaddy Orton, we have Harshmella, you know, we've got like, you know, we have fun with that
Shania
name.
Payne.
Let's go with a new name and right now. Yeah, Shania Payne and
Yeah.
now we've got the Tombly Boos.
Yeah.
And, the Wattingers. Of course, the Wattingers are there.
Yeah, but basically, it's alluding to the fact that Ali is the ringleader of the Retribution, which is pretty cool because that ties it back into that anonymous thing.
Yeah, so it ties into the sort of hacker thing he was doing on SmackDown, which I really like that as an idea of connecting that. They haven't officially announced the connection yet, but that's the first thing that I thought of. And it was like, it's really cool that he's the head of the Night Garden now. Like, it seems like a really, really good move. Because what I love about it is they're all units and he's not. Like, he's kind of a shorter dude, but he still looks
exactly
looks menacing as fuck as their leader.
There's something about a short dude in front of big buff dudes is kind of really intimidating. It's just like, it's like you must have a lot of power somehow. Yeah, must have a good mouth, boy. Powers. What?
But yeah. I'm not gonna touch that one. But so I do wonder where we're gonna see that because I'm pretty sure the In the Night Garden are staying on
Definitely
Raw. I don't see them moving. It makes sense because it's kind of there, and obviously they might infiltrate into Underground or whatever, but. See how it goes.
That is.
But anyway, Jem, that's all of it. That's it. That's all of the SmackDown, all of SmackDown and the Raws. Jem, how do you
Raw was
rate
pretty good.
this
I think
episode
having the whole telenovela mysterious Murphy stories, it's really doing something. So it's quite up there. Again, 3 hours is just too long, and you can definitely feel it when Underground's not there. And. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably call it down the middle and give it a Kurt. It wasn't great, wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it looks like we're on the same page tonight, Jem. It's a Kurt for me as well. Even though it instantly got better when we started talking about In the Night Garden. And then the scenario that we created for the ending of the Buddy story, where him just tongue bashing mum and daughter. Like that outcome.
Yeah.
What we've created actually made the show better. There's enough here to move forward. I'm still as similar to SmackDown. I am as confused on Raw. About what will this draft do? Because there's a lot of open storylines right now that will be affected by a draft, and it's a situation of are they just gonna fucking leave these stories and move on? It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Yeah. And I'm curious to see where it goes. But that does bring us to the end of the show. Big thank you for everyone that stuck around. We had our draft predictions earlier on the show. Then we did our Raw and SmackDown reviews. We'll be back next week to talk the outcome of those drafts. I'll be probably live tweeting them because I'm a big dork, and be a good bit of fun. So this was our WWE in review. It comes at you every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that wrestling conversation, you can head to facebook.com/group/popcultures, Twitter, Discord, Instagram. All those links are in the down below area. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this wrestling pod. You can watch it live on Twitch, twitch.tv/thepopcultures, just like Solitaire did, who was a great involvement in the show early on, just like Rocket did, just like Mad Dog, Osiris, Mullet Show. A bunch of the regulars stopped by, and it was awesome. If this is on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're watching us on the YouTube, be sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment that comes our way. You can also email us just at mail@popcultures.com, or you can go to the website. I mentioned that because we did receive that contact recently in regards to the soap opera storylines, which we are getting to. So thank you. And of course, if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopcultures, as well as our merchandise store, popcultures.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. And until next week, where either Jem or I may be drafted to another wrestling podcast, I'm Ryan Betson. We'll see you then. The Young and the Restless, the Pop Culturist WWE podcast, is fan support over at Patreon at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damien Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.